right, thank you for staying with us. And that's our next topic, by the way. In Nigeria, cervical cancer is the third most common cancer and the second most frequent cause of cancer deaths among women, especially those aged between 15 and 44 years. In 2020, the latest year for which data is available, Nigeria recorded, guess what, 12,000 new cases and 8,000 deaths from cervical cancer.
Why are we being so morbid today? Deaths, deaths, deaths. The first topic was deaths.
Our intention is to reduce the numbers, but let people not have the illusion that those things don't exist, because they do exist. Well, we understand, of course, that the human papilloma virus, the HPV vaccine, is most effective when given to girls and boys before they become sexually active. Who knows that? The federal government announced that it has vaccinated over 3.9 million Nigerian girls between ages 9 and 14 years with the HPV vaccine against cervical cancer since it rolled out vaccination exercise in October. It aims to reach 7.7 million girls in the targeted age group with a single dose of the vaccine. Let's have a conversation around this and a number of other issues with Dr. Ibrahim Akinwumi Mustafa, who is the Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Primary Healthcare Board. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
First of all, I don't know where to start, but let me start with this. Explain to those who are wondering what this whole noise is about. What is cervical cancer?
Okay, thank you very much. Cervical cancer is the cancer of the cervix. That is a malignant abnormal growth around the opening of the uterus, in females, of course. And it's as a result of the cells around this area undergoing malignant change. And once they undergo malignant change, they become cancerous, and anything can happen thereafter. You have all the symptoms and signs of cancers, and eventually leads to death. Okay.
Since we're talking definitions, let's stick with definitions.
Yes.
So what is HPV vaccine?
Okay. HPV simply means human papilloma virus vaccine.
Papilloma.
Yes. Now, it's a virus, and it's the commonest viral infection of the genital tract in females. Commonest viral infection. So it's essentially an STI. That's sexually transmitted infection. You don't see it in people that are not sexually exposed, and this human papilloma virus is known to cause the transformation I talked about earlier in the cervical area that will lead to malignancy. Now, the good thing is that of virtually all cancers, cervical cancer caused by human papilloma virus is one that is easily preventable through the use of vaccines. Now, the vaccines available are known to protect against infection by human papilloma virus for people that have had that vaccine and have developed immunity against the human papilloma virus.
That has got my mind working overtime.
Yeah.
So if this vaccine is so efficient, how come it is only, we're being told about it now, in light of the figures which he reeled out when he was opening this segment, the number of infections, the number of deaths, the number of women who have had cervical cancer? So how come you're just coming out to tell us about it now? Is it a new vaccine?
It's not a new vaccine. It's been used since the 1960s abroad. And even in Nigeria here, people have been having it even before now. The well-to-do amongst us have been going to private hospitals to pay humongously to have themselves vaccinated. So it's not new. It's just that now the government has now decided to make human papillomavirus vaccine part of our routine immunization.
Okay.
Routine immunization, we have vaccination against tuberculosis, polio, diphtheria, and all of that. We want to make human papillomavirus vaccine as one of those that people would have as part of routine immunization in the country, and that's a global target. But now, what we're doing now is the introductory phase, is the introduction. We are introducing it to people.
Okay. You know, when children are young and they take those mandatory vaccines,
Yes.
they are documented. So will this be among those vaccines that will be on those 4 cards that the children carry?
Precisely. Precisely. But you know, those vaccines, you will know, were given at different ages.
Yes.
Some of them started from even
From
day
birth.
0. You know, from birth till
Then
6 weeks, 10
6
weeks, 14 weeks, 6 months.
6 months.
Measles will be given at 9 months, and then like that. But this will start around 9 years.
9. Okay.
So it will be indicated in that card that you've had this vaccine.
Okay.
How does this vaccine work?
Okay, like any other vaccine, when it's an exposure to the synthesized viral protein, the protein of the virus. Okay, and once your body is exposed to it, you have those cells that will, for everybody, let me say immune cells. These immune cells are able to recognize the viral protein that they have been exposed to, and they prepare. They are like sensitized. They are ready. They have been exposed. They know this virus. They know this is this, you know. So the next time
They see the real thing.
they see the real thing, they attack it.
The challenge.
They know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I asked is because when the COVID-19 virus came out, people were, one, hesitant to take. Now, the news a number of people are also circulating now is that vaccine is causing whatever in, some people's bodies. And naturally, people will have that same mindset that if we hear that one about that one, what's the assurance that this one is not going to, help me in some way and harm me in any other way? That's the reason I'm asking.
Well, yeah, thank you very much for that. These things, they are essentially drugs. Let me start with that. Those vaccines have been tested and they have been found safe for human consumption, as it were. The ordinary paracetamol you use has its side effects. Okay, so there can be side effects to any of these vaccines. Okay. I mean, that is not something that is not unexpected. You get it? And I must say, for COVID vaccine, it was to mimic the COVID virus, okay? And people had different reactions to the COVID virus. Thrombosis, some things that had to do with blood clots and all whatnot. So it is not impossible. It was a new vaccine. It is not impossible that...
but this one is not a new vaccine.
This one is not a new vaccine. Okay, it's something that has been used everywhere.
Let's leave it at that.
So,
So what other preventive measures, if any, are there against cervical cancer?
Oh, well, like I said, the human papillomavirus is an STI, sexually transmitted infection. So if you're never exposed to sex, then you won't have it. If you're celibate, you're not going to have it. It's as simple as that. So but you cannot preach celibacy to anyone and be 100% showing yourself that this person will not be exposed to sex either behind you or even in front of you. But celibacy is difficult to preach. Okay. The other thing that you can talk about is not is to have periodic tests.
Okay.
Okay. pap smear, we call it, where you test the cervix, you swipe around the cervix, you pick cells from the cervix, so you can pick early cancers or precancerous condition and take action. Now, the best of all of this is still the vaccine that we're lucky to have for a cancerous condition. If you add the human papillomavirus vaccine, you are protected against human papillomavirus. You can go to sleep, then you're not going to be infected. That does not preclude you testing for cervical cancer whatsoever, you know.
So you can still have your periodic pap smear.
Pap smear, yes, you can still have it, but you are very, very protected. Science has proven that.
So is this vaccine, will it become mandatory, especially for the girl child?
When it is routinized, then it is part of the routine immunization of that particular country, and Nigeria will not be exempt, you know. Vaccination is like drug. You can decide not to take. Even the routine immunization we're talking about, the polio, the diphtheria, the BCG, all of these things. If you as a mother says, please don't give my child,
there's nothing anybody can do.
We cannot grab you and give you the vaccine, but we will try and convince you. We will try and let you know that that decision is one that is down the hill. It's not one that you should be taking, and the reasons you should come to decide where you will be convinced that you have to take this vaccine. And good enough. Most of these vaccine preventable illnesses are things that people see. We all remember what polio did when we didn't have oral polio vaccine or even the IM1. We have paralyzed children, children that were not able to achieve their full potential. Even pertussis, children dying before they're 5. And even now, our under 5 is terrible. So it's not under 5 deaths, that is terrible for Nigeria as a country. So we are not even in that area that we will say we don't want to have ourselves vaccinated, you know.
You know, those early vaccines that a baby is given at birth.
And
I don't remember that we were given any choice. We were told, and babies were taken away and given the vaccines. We were not asked for permission to take them away.
Well, if you reject.
They didn't ask. I took the child and gave the child the vaccine.
I'm glad they did that.
They didn't ask my permission, if I remember correctly.
From coming to the hospital, you have given implied permission. That's implied consent.
Now, something you said earlier very quickly, for those who are wondering what this whole conversation is about, you said it's better when the person hasn't become sexually active. What happens when the person has already become sexually active, not at age 3, but the person is already sexually active but does not have HPV and has not taken the vaccine?
That person should still take it. Let me say that. There are several strains of the human papillomavirus, and that is what some anti-vax use as their argument against the vaccine. Several strains, more than 100 strains of, and what the gather cell, the brand we're giving, protect against just about 4 strains. 6, 11,
out of
16,
100.
6, 11. Those are the commonest strains. It's like you talk about, you see, viruses, they change. But the ones that are most important, that cause problem, okay,
this vaccine will
work against those. Strain 6, 11, 16, and 18. Okay. This HPV is also the cause of what we call
strain 6, 11,
16, and 18.
Okay.
Now, the 6, 11, and 11 are the strains that commonly will cause genital warts. Genital warts is very common. Okay, very common. And once you have this vaccine, you're protected. All the other ones are quite rare. Okay, and many times what they cause is usually self-limiting. But these ones that I've mentioned are really
Now,
the terrible ones.
you've agreed that those who are already sexually active can take. So who are the people that are taking the vaccine? Is it just women?
In some countries, boys are also given.
But they don't have cervical cancer, so what are
But
they taking?
they can have genital warts. And mind you, I remember I said it's sexually transmitted. So if the guy has it, then he will expose the girl.
But I have taken the vaccine, so...
Yeah, it's very good. You've taken it, so you are protected.
So the boys in Nigeria
will also take
they
it.
will eventually be included. But for now, we are targeting the girls.
Between 9 and 14.
14, yes, 9 and 14.
Okay. Is there any condition that will prevent a child from not taking the vaccine? Is there any condition that a child might have
that will prevent the child from? Oh, well, if a child has an overwhelming infection, is seriously ill, we will not advocate that you should give the child at that time until the child is well out of that illness and is fit, because you're expected to also respond to that vaccine and be able to mount a reaction to anything that resembles that virus. You understand? So for you to be able to do that, you have to be in the very top shape of health, you know. And then again, if it has been demonstrated that you react to any component of that vaccine, you know, it's not just...
But how will I know?
No, it has, the bottle has the component of the vaccine, the viral protein is there. Then sometimes you have albumin, you have also some other
things. Will that be read to the parent of the child so that she can tell you, or he can tell you if that child reacts to any of those things?
Yes, many times children that react to particular thing, the parents know, and they will tell you clearly, my child reacts to egg white, my child reacts to this particular thing. Mothers know, I can tell you that. Mothers know. They know what their child... So they would tell you,
that's if they are asked, doctor. If they are asked. Sometimes they don't get asked. Because I have a friend who died from receiving tetanus toxoid once because he wasn't asked what he was allergic to.
Well, that is correct. That is correct. I will not take that as not being it happens, okay. But that is not to say that it should happen, okay. If you want to give anything at all, any drug at all, no matter how mundane you think the drug is, you should explain to the patient. And for a drug like this that we've had so much of resistance against, we take informed consent. And informed consent means you've explained to them. Part of what you will be asking is, have you reacted to anything in the past? Have you reacted to any injection in the past? Do you react to this type of thing? And if the person says, okay, I react to this, I react to that, then I say, okay, this we need to put you aside and be sure you will not react to it. And then you may not have to go through all sorts of tests, allergy tests, to know that you will not react to this one.
So in that light, perhaps it's also fair to ask, who should not be given this vaccine?
Right now, we don't advocate for this vaccine to be given to pregnant women. So pregnant women are exempt from it. If you wish,
are from almost everything else.
If you wish to have it, then you go and deliver first, and then you can come back to us. Of course, if you have demonstrated any reactions to any of the components, then we're not going to give you until you are certified safe to receive it. And like I said earlier, if you have very severe illness, some people will have overwhelming infection that they're already battling. You will want them to clear that infection first before you introduce another thing, so they will be exempt from this thing.
Okay, so
for HIV, HIV is one area that is very important. That's a human immunodeficiency virus, the cause of AIDS. For people that are HIV positive, they are not exempt. In fact, they will be given 2 doses instead of 1.
But they have to be honest enough to tell you that they have HIV.
Oh, well, we know.
You know.
We know. I mean, we know.
Just to put it like this.
Yes, because
Okay.
a lot of people are on medication even now.
Okay.
But none will come out to tell you that I'm on medication.
Okay.
But the doctor knows.
So how many doses would a girl be given?
Just 1 dose.
Just one.
For this particular one that we're given, Gardasil. 1 dose and you're fine.
Okay. And is it available in all government institutions right now?
Or in Lagos State, it is available across all of our primary health centers. Although we started the campaign on the 30th of October, ended about 10 days after, but we're still continuing. We will continue to give for as long as you come to the primary health centers. We have about 320 of those across the state. So your backyard, your street, you probably will find a primary health center somewhere. We also have in all of the general hospitals in Lagos State, and our teaching hospital too. And importantly, it is absolutely free. The government of Lagos State has made it in conjunction with partners and MPHCDA, made it absolutely free. You will remember, madam, if you, like you said, you've had it, you paid to have it, and it's not cheap. So we find it
Viewers,
difficult.
you heard that.
You paid.
It is free.
Absolutely.
I thought you were going to ask that you be refunded. I'm just saying. So you were saying something.
And nobody will be refunded. But we will not collect anybody to give it now.
We're grinding to a close gradually, but since we have you here, are there cases of women who do not have, what is the plural of cervix now? Cervixes. Is it possible?
Is that possible? Well, those are developmental anomalies, and developmental anomalies can take any shape. Yes, there are so-called women that will not have uterus. There are women that will even have double uterus and meaning double cervix. So, by conics, don't let me go to that. But let me just say, you may not even have uterus at all. Okay? And once there is no uterus, there won't be cervix.
Yes.
And you may even have the uterus, 2 of them. Separate, and it's possible to also now have 2 cervixes in one single person. So those are developmental anomalies, and they exist.
Okay,
But,
apparently.
so will a girl child be examined before she's given? So it's just assume that it's there, so she gets the vaccine.
Well, for many times, many times, although for some of the incomplete uterine anomalies, you may not see it on the face. But for people that will have the very severe anomalies with complete absence, they also have other morphologic features that you will see on their face. They may not be as tall as they should be. They may have some funny facie. So once you see that type of a guy, you think, okay, there may be more.
I just
I
want
think we can close now.
the kind of things that they see. Well, quick one, if you can, 15 seconds each. There are some myths and misconceptions that I would like you to help our viewers, get a grip on. Number 1, that the HPV vaccine promotes early sexual activity. Yes, no?
No.
Number 2, that the HPV vaccine is not safe.
Very safe. NAFDAC approved set.
Number 3, natural immunity is better.
Natural
How
immunity.
can you get immunity against cancer?
You're asking me.
Number 4,
Yeah.
Well, you're a doctor, you should know better.
This is the only cancer that you can have
Do
immunity
something,
against.
yes.
Most other cancers, you
There's no
can do
immunity.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You just try.
And pray.
Okay, number 4, the HPV vaccine causes infertility. In fact, someone just sent us a mail that there's a conception that this HPV vaccine will make a girl to be infertile in the future. That this is the aim to reduce the population of people. Can you explain that? It's from Shade.
That is the devil's lie from hell.
So it's misconception 101.
In fact, that is what has caused a lot of issues for us, because online you see all sorts of things, that this is a conspiracy between the Chinese government and some African government and European and then America to reduce the population of blacks and sterilize our pre-sexual girls
women,
so that they will not be able to have children and reduce our population. Those are just lies from hell.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely false.
Dr. Ibrahim Akinwumi Mustafa, Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Primary Healthcare Board. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll be back right after now. At least now you know what to do. So